a group of people who feel called together to share movement experiences that are accessible to all bodies, that are creative at the core, and restorative. Those are the words that sort of came up in our initial brainstormings, but we're still very much figuring out who and what we are. We hope to be doing things like what we did with you today, offer things like this for the community so people can experience their creative potential in their bodies and in their community. Dance is one of the forms that I think helps people feel connected and full. So that's a baseline that you guys can fill in.
And the
collective is key, because we're making this together. It's not really one person's vision, but we're all
a collaboration.
Yeah.
And in that connection, it's to one to another, ourselves to our environment and to the earth, and then in our own self of like our body, mind, and spirit, own connection. So being able to like have experience that, have access to it, and kind of explore what that is together.
And with all that, I think another creativity is at the core, and then also we're doing this for our well-being and for health. So hoping that we can spread, healthy bodies around. Come and join us.
Healthy bodies and
healthy bodies and minds.
Because you got your start a little bit through the Florida Uni Arts and Medicine program. Is that, if I got that right?
We are there. We all are. A few of us are connected in different ways, either by having worked there or having experience in the programs as a student, or am I forgetting any other ways we can interact? So we've had interactions with arts and medicine, but we aren't necessarily affiliated.
Okay, yeah.
But they're fans of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, yes.
We share similar philosophies.
Right.
and inspiration from them.
Yes.
So the Form Dance Collective would essentially be in the category of like arts in community health or arts in public health. So bringing it to the community, voicing health concerns or environment concerns as well.
Yeah. So you've kind of come together through various networks, and I understood a couple of you came newly tonight. Yeah, great. And is it just through the people you're knowing, getting to know around Gainesville?
Right now, yeah, because we don't really have a publicity person to be like, okay, let's do Facebook or whatever, so it is very much like word of mouth right now. But we hope to, figure out what our mouthpiece will be to get the word out. So.
We're kind of fluid too. Also, we don't really have a home base or like a stationary point to work out of, so much like water, we're moving.
Yeah, we did a lot of work outside actually at Bulware Springs. That was one place where we met regularly because it's a free park, and it was nice in the winter.
Yes.
We met at a few community studio spaces where we've had to rent it, and then also at the university we've used those spaces. So we're figuring out a home. But it could be a cool thing that forms here where we don't necessarily have our own home, but that we can bring life to different spaces. So this space feels really fitting. I don't know if you want to talk about this space at all.
Yes, this space actually belongs to a church that they're moving this section of the building that we're in into a community center for specifically this section of town. And that room over there used to be a studio with mirrors and everything on the wall, but it needed to be, it was a hazard, and they haven't been replaced yet. But their heart also is for similar ideas of connection to the community, to one another, mind, body, spirit, and healing. And actually we are this, they call themselves the Bridge here. And I think that's kind of fitting too, because I feel like that's what we're also wanting to do, is like to be bridging all these things together. So this is free space for us to use for now, and maybe something will develop out of it for Forum as a the word I'm looking for?
Home.
An arm.
An arm.
An arm of where what we're doing.
Mm.
So.
Yeah. And so what your hope is to draw people from the community into an environment of dance, and what do you think that offers people?
Do you want me to answer?
Or anyone can
I'm
answer.
answering a lot, so.
I'd throw out an opportunity to get to know yourself in relation to, I mean, every aspect of that life has to offer. You know, whether it be your relationship with, you know, your family members, your friends, or you know, today we learned some interesting like choreographic processes. For me, it was one of the first times, and it was very interesting to kind of see that deconstruction, that process, that creation process in general. So for me, it helped kind of give me some very valuable insight into how I can create other things in my life, be it you know, setting goals, planning, healing, etc., etc. So
Visioning it first.
envisioning it first. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that accessibility that you mentioned is really important for the community, because I think that dance especially is so often framed as like the ballet, or even on more community levels like salsa night or a Zumba class, even those things for people who think that I can't dance, that is very inaccessible to them. People who've grown up believing they cannot dance are like, they don't enter those spaces. And as such, then it becomes cyclical, and I think most people in society are quite literally disembodied from their sense of kinesthetic awareness in dance, and like, if you have a body, you can dance. So making it something that is accessible to all bodies, all, you know, abilities, all levels of kinesthetic awareness or past dance experience, it connects you to your own body, your community, and then it might make you more interested in going to see dance, or connected to more performance art in the community that you might not normally feel connected to. So I think that that's important. Like, dance doesn't have to be going to see Swan Lake.
Right.
It can be a little community project. It can just be waking up and shaking and moving a little more every day than you normally would. And that in turn keeps you healthy, radiates to the community, radiates to everything else.
I think kind of jumping off of that, engaging, the sort of dance that we're offering would be considered creative dance, I think. And so engaging in a creative process, much like we did today, I think does a lot of things for the mind, as far as like, we're now focusing on imagery, or we're focusing on narrative, or whatever it is, rather than focusing on whatever it might be that's bringing you down at home or something. You know, it's a chance to take a step away from carrying the weight of the world. And so all I'm trying to say is that, you know, by offering this, we're allowing people an opportunity to foster a sort of creative environment, creative being, and with that comes, I think, things like trust and things like confidence, and just things that I think help, bolster a healthy person and then community.
I can attest to that. This is my first time coming to a program through this group, and I just feel really more confident the more I learn about dance, because I don't have like a very structured background in dance, and whenever it was someone else choreographing, and then I would do the movements that they had picked. So then today, with us deconstructing and making your own movements, it's really cool to see that I can be that creative and to make something. And I was saying earlier that the more confident that I become, dancing gives me confidence in my daily life as well. Talking to people, the way I walk, the way I carry myself, it reverberates through everything that I do.
And in turn, going off of that, having a supportive space, like, we even kept asking each other, like, is this right? Are we doing it right? Like, there is no right or wrong, and it's not to say that everything you do is perfect. It's that this is a positive space. We're gonna take whatever you do and run with it, find the positive in it. And there's so many spaces in our daily lives, whether it's work or even relationships or school or whatever, where you're told you're wrong all the time. There is a right and wrong answer. There's a right and wrong way to do things. And people need a space where you can just take a risk and try, and people are going to find the good in it and find the support and find the positivity in it. There is no right or wrong answer. It's just whatever you want to do today. And like we need those spaces where like whatever you do, it's not wrong.
A safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, perfectly said, yeah.